Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Unbettable. I'm Mondo here today with the floating bowl of chowder himself, Gary Gowdy, and of course, we got my boy Holmes at the bottom. Gary, I couldn't give less of a shit about what we're talking about this episode, to be honest. Why did you film the chowder thing inside your little porch area? I
So,
mean, that got everywhere.
Had to.
everybody, happy National Clam Chowder Day. If you celebrate it, it occurred yesterday, Sunday the 25th. So this morning I woke up and I was like, damn, I forgot to film my clam chowder video yesterday. Got to get on it. So I go outside and my plan was to chug it in under 30 seconds, as I said in the video. And it was just a lot of chunks, and I realized that I was not going to be able to swallow that necessarily. So then, as I also said in the video, I said, you know what? We're taking it back to the roots where it all began with the milk video.
Yeah,
And I just dunked
one
myself.
video ago.
Hey, that was 2 videos ago. 2 videos ago now. This is our third video. This is our third national holiday.
I just knew, like, as soon as you took that first sip, that look you gave, I was like, oh bro, this is gonna go viral.
Well, if
It did
I was
not.
trying to see if we had a blender because then I would have really done it, but we don't.
That was
So
unreal. Like, just you didn't like do anything to prep it. That was straight out the can. Like, that
Yeah.
was nasty, bro.
Mad respect. Mad respect.
Hey, whatever for the view. I love it. That's why
yeah,
we hired you.
yeah, my phone is going nuts because I just posted it on Instagram. So Jin says that next I should do a dumpster diving video. So
I love it. I
we'll see.
love it. What Holmes, what were you up to this weekend?
Dude, I had a fantastic trip to Denver. Got to ski a little bit. It was an absolutely great time, I will say. I feel bad. I did not drop enough picks this weekend. I did not do, I would say, a whole lot of sports betting out there. I was on the DraftKings app a little bit, but I placed a UFC parlay that was absolute shit. One of the legs got pushed, and then the other two lost. So I'm literally garbage when it comes to UFC. But we're gonna get back on the horse this week, give out some winning plays, get some winners going every day.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. I didn't really bet either this weekend. Saturday was like a family night kind of thing with a bunch of friends of ours, and then Sunday I was literally golfing from 1:45 to 7 o'clock. Like,
Jeez,
it was
smart
the
golf.
slowest 18 I've ever played in my life. It was
Wow,
so
yeah.
ridiculous.
You had people in front of you that just
Dude, it was literally
keeping poor
people on
pace.
people on people on people. Like, I was just like, oh my God, like I could be doing so many other things right now.
Yeah,
But
stack
ended
day
up
on
shooting
Sunday.
pretty well throughout, on especially on the back nine. Well, at
Nice.
least pretty well by my standards. I'm a horrible golfer, so when you don't lose a bunch of balls, that's considered like a successful hole to me.
Take that.
But yeah, this weekend, to be honest, like, we usually come off weekends where a lot of different like big stories happen, and truthfully there wasn't that much. Obviously we saw, like, Richard Sherman gets arrested for a DUI. Cam Newton got jumped by like six people and still stood his ground, which
And
was
kept his hat on.
incredible. He
Yeah.
did keep his hat on. Well, this is also the same guy who, when he got into a car accident, he was smiling after. When he fought his own cornerback, he was smiling after.
He's a
Like,
very
I
unfazed
mean,
individual.
bro is not afraid of the danger. We know that. So for him, like, anyone to try and jump Cam Newton, like, you must be some kind of stupid. But one of the big stories that came out, was actually from college basketball, where Kyle Filipowski, I mean, one of arguably the best player in the nation, with between him, Zach, the kid from UNC, like, I'd say it's that trio right there. But Filipowski got caught up in a storming incident when Duke went down to Purdue, and he ended up getting injured. This is obviously not the first time that this has happened to a superstar in college. Caitlin Clark had that happen earlier this year, although some still call it a flop. Kind of looked like it, but that's not the point. So now everyone is up in arms about what are these fines that are going to be here? Should there be different rules in place? Should we get rid of court storming altogether? The answer is simply no.
Yeah.
You do not get rid of storming the court. It is a central hub of everything college sports. You cannot thrive in your fan bases without the ability to storm a court when you are a shitty team. Every single school that is not the top of the line, cream of the crop at their sports, if you take away that opportunity to storm, you lose like half your ticket sales throughout the year. Guaranteed. Because they're not coming to watch you play. They're coming for the opportunity to run on the court. And that's on you for not being able to recruit good players. But at the end of the day, if you think that conference or court storming is going anywhere, you're a fucking moron. I'll throw it to you guys. I just want to get that out the way because I saw that and I thought it was ridiculous.
I mean, I will say just on the topic of like court storming, like field rushing, I think, in my opinion, that's like, well, that's one of the things I think that makes college football so exciting. Because a lot of these
Yeah.
games, when they come down to the wire and you have massive upsets or you have a really big win against a ranked team, I mean, this is like literally the only scenario that this happens. This doesn't happen in pro sports. You know, nobody rushes the field after the Eagles win the conference championship. Like they don't do it after a walk-off win in the MLB. Like they don't do this in regular sports, but in
No.
college, that just shows you like how much the fans are truly into the game. You know, they are there to root for their team. That is like the college atmosphere is unlike any other. It's so much different than a pro atmosphere. And I think getting to have at least that option to court storm, to rush the field when you get a monumental win, that's just a big like morale boost for your program in general, for your
Yeah.
fans. Like that's an exciting thing to look forward to. Obviously, you don't want to be like a shitty team that is perennially shitty and then only looks forward to court storming. I'm sure you want to be good at some point, but when you get the opportunity to do this, I feel like you got to take it, man. Like this is I think a one-off incident that is really unfortunate to the player that got hurt. You said his name, I completely blanked on it, but it's this is an incident that we haven't seen in years past. Like courts have been stormed and fields have been rushed for a long time, and rarely do we ever hear about players getting injured. It seems like there's a lot of safety precautions to make sure that players are taken off the court or off the field prior to when this all happens. So I think it's an integral part of college sports. You got to keep it around. It's exciting for fan bases to get to do that type of thing. It's really fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, I have a mixed take on this one. So obviously at the collegiate level, it's super awesome if you've ever got to be a part of, rushing a court or a field. I never have. But I have had friends that have done it and they say it's something that, you have to do at least once. And, you don't really get to do it unless you are a part of a moment that is deserving of it. But okay, so when it comes to storming a field or rushing the court, you have to realize your school gets fined $250,000. That's at least that's what it is at the SEC level. Which obviously as a fan you don't really care about, but you have to realize that's $250,000 less that is able to be invested into the program that you're storming the court for. And also it's just super dangerous to everybody involved. And like I'm only taking this point in the stand because like of what I learned last year in class, and it's just like we like looked at it from like, a safety standpoint. And then like in this incident specifically with Filipowski, like the fan intentionally ran into him while he's trying to taunt the player. So, obviously you have these people that are hired as like safety people, but for example, like whenever I got hired as a baseball usher for like Florida baseball, I literally didn't get any training. I was just told to stand there. And like, so if anything pops off, like I don't know what to do. So, of course, these people that work at these stadiums for the games are usually kids. They're not going to do anything about it. And like, what? There's probably like 4 police officers on the court maximum. Like, my thing is like, yes, it's awesome to see, but also it's very dangerous because it's just like you never know what somebody could have on them whenever they rush the court. They could hurt people. They could punch your favorite player. They could literally do anything because nobody's gonna stop them. So it's just like it's cool to see. I just feel like, be smart when you do these sort of things. Like if you are doing it, like I don't know, just don't fuck with people. Like why are you kicking a player in his kneecap? Like that makes no sense to me. Um, but yeah, that's kind of my take on it.
So
Fair.
two things. First of all, I meant Wake Forest. I had Zach on the brain in that top three combo. Wake Forest won this game. Number two, Gary, I like the second point about safety. The money thing is a bunch of horse shit.
I mean, it is a $250,000 fine.
That's chump change to the amount of money that these guys make.
I know, but
These
I'm just
conferences, schools, NTA as a whole, they make too much fucking money as it is, and they don't get taxed on it. That's the only part I don't like. I love the safety point. I just think if they try and spin it around on the money it costs, I'd be storming every fucking game because
yeah.
that's just
Yeah,
bullshit to me.
yeah,
No,
that's
I'm just
fair.
saying, like, obviously, if you were to like storm Bama's field, that's not going to affect them in any way, shape, or form. But it's just like, it's just the premise of it. I understand, but at the same time, it's just like it's literally a mob of people, a herd of people that are just trampling over each other for what? Like to get up and close, personal with some motherfucker that you didn't know about before the game, but decided to make a game-winning three that game. Like it's I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, it is what it is. But sticking in the sport of basketball, some big news actually came out of the NBA today. I'm going to show you right now. I want your guys' exact ratings and your ultimate thoughts on this change.
Oh boy, I think I know what's coming here.
So these are the new uniforms and logo that were dropped by the Clippers this morning. Um, they obviously are a very different color scheme than what we're used to. The writing overall is very similar, but the biggest change is the logo. Gary, I'll start with you. What are your initial thoughts on this new uniform rebrand?
Can I see a picture of the old uniform?
There you go, there.
Oh yeah, I've seen. Yeah, yeah. Okay, now go back to the new one. Make waves. I don't. And this is like their new jersey they're gonna wear every game.
Yep.
Um, I like the red colorway. I think that's clean. I like the font of it. The blue and the white one though are kind of like not a lot going on. It kind of looks weird. But I don't really understand. First of all, I guess what I have to understand, what exactly is a clipper?
So a clipper is an old timey boat
Okay.
that used to be sailed as like a ship. So think of like a Christopher Columbus type boat.
Okay.
That's essentially what a clipper is.
Uh,
So to explain kind of the logo just a little bit,
that's a boat.
so that's the clipper. Obviously, the compass being on the water. I believe the C was just for like clipper. And then you got the color scheme. Now, my full-hearted take is this shit is terrible. I like the old uniforms from the mid 2010s because that's kind of like what I grew up with them, with like Lob City and stuff like that. The only reason I am holding out hope is this little tiny blue ring right here, this powderish blue color. That is the only reason why I haven't fully dove into this shit is terrible. Because if they bring back these powder blues and they have this kind of layout, they will look fucking sick.
Hmm.
That's it. Holmes?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of on the same wave as Garrett. The logo to me, not my favorite at all.
Uh-uh.
Um, I kind of like the colors, like you said, Gare, like the red, blue, and white. I mean, that's what they've had for a long time. I think it looks good. The font not that bad, but the numbers to me, the numbers look kind of weird. Like if that's actually going to be the font of numbers and that's how they're going to look, I don't really like that. It looks kind of weird. Um, I don't know, man. Just as a whole, the logo is just really throwing me off. Like I just can't wrap my head around that being like the Clippers logo going forward. It's
It gives me
kind of
like
throwing me for a loop.
it's like classy, but it shouldn't be classy. Does that make any sense?
Yeah.
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 It's
I
like it
know.
looks old timey. I don't know, like because I was just looking at their other logo and I like it a lot more. Like it just this looks like something that a 60-year-old white man would wear, like as like, you'd see it in their turtleneck that costs $200 and that would be the logo. Like I don't really
Yeah,
like
like a
that.
Nautica type
Yeah.
of yeah.
But I definitely think that if they get like a City Connect jersey, they can make them clean as fuck. Like, imagine like putting like waves or some shit on it, or like some sort of water effect, and like like that would be raw. But um, I don't really, I don't like that. I don't really think it's. I don't really think it speaks to like LA culture either, which I think is
Yeah.
something they should definitely, or something they kept in mind with the old logo at least. Like, I mean, look at the font. Like, if you go to the left three pictures in the little small one, the fans edge add like up. Yeah, like that kind of like that font, like that shit, like that looks like LA culture. But
Oh, where are
like,
we going?
yeah, like that's hard. But
Yeah,
like,
that's not bad. I like those.
Well, that's also like I'm pretty sure that's their City Connect
Yeah,
yeah,
that's what it
so
is right
or
now.
like their Jordan brand or whatever the fuck it is. But I'm glad we're all in agreement here that it is terrible, but there is an opportunity to be better.
Yeah.
I feel like uniforms as a whole are going through a little bit of shit show given the MLB unis that we've seen so far this spring training.
Yeah.
A lot of cock, man. A lot of cock coming through those pants. Like,
Absurd. It's absurd.
yeah. So now I want to turn it over to Gary to lead us in a nice little segment for the UFC. Gary, the
oh.
floor is yours.
All right. So UFC Fight Night, Moreno versus Royval 2. This was the matchup of the night. Let's get a little premise real quick of what this UFC event was all about. This event was hosted in Mexico City. Honestly, a fire atmosphere, a lot of really cool intros, and it was just a vibe. But it was honestly a bad night for betting. A lot of upsets. I know a lot of people like to make parlays when it comes to UFC because usually the underdog comes under and the top dog comes out on top. But this was just not the case. I'm going to talk about three fights in specific. So we're going to talk about the first one and then the last two. So the first fight, Eric Silva versus Muhammad Naimov. This fight was a tough one. If you have Muhammad, I mean, you're sitting pretty. I'm pretty sure he was the favorite for this fight. And he ended up taking it out with a knockout in the first round. Hits Eric with a fucking flying backwards spin kick to the side of the temple. Mans is gone. Now, the second two fights, Brian Ortega versus Yair Rodriguez. This was one of those ones where Yair was favored. Honestly, I don't really know why. His reach is a little bit better. He's a little bit younger than Brian. Brian has kind of had like a rocky past with some of the shit he said. But this fight started off what seemed very one-sided. Yair was beating the shit out of him in the very beginning. He got an early cut on Brian. But then Brian just took it to the ground and was like, fuck that. I'm gonna grapple this man until he can't fight anymore. And it ended up with a submission, Brian going out on top. He had Yair in a pretty sure it was a triangle choke, is what it was. Brian ended up catching some flack at the end because he didn't notice he was tapping, kind of held on to him for a little while.
I
But
saw
then
that.
at the end of this fight, the UFC kind of went crazy because Brian immediately jumps out of the ring and starts running at the crowd. This we've seen this happen before. I can't remember who did it. I want to say it was.
Wasn't it Khabib when he ran out
Yeah,
into
I was
it?
gonna say. I think it was.
Mhm.
Yeah. But
Or maybe the
all,
opposite way around. Maybe McGregor jumped the
I'm
fence.
pretty sure Khabib was in the fight regardless. I'm pretty sure he was
Yeah.
involved in that. Anyways, yeah,
Yeah.
Brian runs into the crowd, but he actually did something wholesome, brought his family out there, his kids, whatever. Case dismissed. We're all good. And then the last fight, which honestly, I don't really know if I agree with the decision. We have Brandon Moreno versus Brandon Royval. Royval, I believe, was a plus 250 favorite, something around there. And the fight was ran by
Plus
Moreno.
250 underdog, brother.
Yeah,
You said plus 250 is underdog, right?
yeah.
Yeah, you said plus 250 favorite. Yeah, yeah. I just want to make sure you had the right
Oh,
thing.
sorry. Plus
No, you're
250
good.
underdog. Moreno was the favorite. Uh,
Idiot.
and he was running that shit for the first couple rounds, and then Royval started cutting him up really bad. He cut his nose really bad. Um, and then from there on, they were just exchanging blows. But Moreno, bro, I don't know like how many times he had to get told this, but keep your head up when you throw a punch. Every single time Moreno threw a punch, he was like this. Every single time, head completely down. And then Royval finally picked up on it, I think about the third round, and split his nose open with a knee. And it was just over from there because he couldn't figure it out. He just kept ducking his head, and then he kept getting uppercut or hit with a knee. In the end, Royval won. So if you are big on betting on underdogs like I am, you probably made some cash. But if not, it was a tough night for you.
How many units you win, Gare?
None. This was I honestly I didn't even know this was going on. This was like a free fight night thing, so I just saw it on ESPN Plus, and I was like, "Fuck it, I'll throw it on." And then I ended up watching it for like 3 hours. So
That's how it always sucks you in.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'll be laying in bed on Saturday. Julie's trying to go to sleep. She's like, "Come on, like let's go to bed." I'm like, fuck no, the UFC's on. Like I'm
yeah,
staying up for this shit.
Gonna run until 2.
Yeah, I'm like, I'll see you in the morning. Like, go to sleep. I'm
yeah. I
gonna
don't think it
watch
was
it.
over till like damn near 1 o'clock, and then I
Oh,
KO'd after that.
always. But on the topic of MMA, obviously we had the PFL versus Bellator. Bellator came out on top. That was big news. It was the first Saudi event that was kind of really hosted in Saudi Arabia. So it's like kind of groundbreaking for the sport in general. Just not just in the Saudi Arabia sense, but also just crossing over leagues like that is not as common as people would think. So it was just a really cool event to see. But most people were probably still watching UFC. So either way, big
It's
weekend for MMA.
crazy.
Yeah,
Now, we started planning this episode on Saturday night because someone said that they cannot wait and they had a hell of a lot to talk about out of college sports. Now, I wonder who that someone is. Obviously, I talk a lot. Gary just had his segment. Oh, look, someone's hands up. Holmes, why don't you fill us in on the college sports this weekend?
Wow, let's get into it. And we are going to specifically talk about college baseball because we love college baseball on this podcast. However, we will not gloss over the fact that Florida got a very nice win in basketball against Vanderbilt at home this
Yes,
week.
sir.
So we will not gloss over that. Well done, Florida. But we're also going to start talking about Florida baseball first because we are not going into anything else before we talk about Florida. What a big week for the boys. Not only did they sweep the weekend against Columbia, they swept the whole week. Got 2 midweek wins against North Florida. We talked about the first win on the last pod, me and you, Gare. But the second win, 13-4 at home against UNF, put up another dominant showing. -4.5 spread on that game was easy money. Tyler Shelnut went 2 for 3 with 3 RBIs. Michael Robertson had a career day at the plate, 4 for 5 with 3 RBIs. And Alex Philpott, freshman pitcher who actually pitched in this game and then again, I believe on Sunday, 3 innings, 2 Ks, and 1 hit allowed. He did some great work starting that game and then coming in for relief on Sunday. I will say the sweep of Columbia this weekend, these are the wins that you got to stack up early. We've talked about it a little bit on the pod. The talent discrepancy between Florida and some of these non-conference teams is immense. Florida has some of the top recruiting classes in the nation year after year. They portal in some great talent from the transfer portal. So they have a lot to work with here. And you saw it on display all weekend against Columbia, a 15-6 win on Friday, a 7-3 win on Saturday, and a 12-5 win on Sunday. Cade Fisher on Friday, he had a big bounce back. I said on the last pod that I wasn't really trusting him. Even after one start as a starter, I didn't really think that his stuff was going to be up to snuff, apparently, but he proved me wrong. He did prove me wrong. He bounced back in a big way. 5 innings pitched, career high 10 Ks for the boy. He looked very, very sharp all night. We had Tyler Shelnut, continues to stay hot at the plate. He had a massive home run. And then, Garrett, we talked about this on the pod. Brody Donay broke the cold streak and hit a massive 2-run bomb that night against Columbia. Very big for him to get his first hit as a Gator, first home run as a Gator. He had a nice 2-for-5 night that night. And Luke Heyman with a 2-run home run as well, another guy that is extremely, extremely hot in the middle of this lineup. On Saturday, Liam Peterson, I told you on the last episode, this kid is the real deal. Freshman, got drafted last year, should have went to the league. He has elite stuff for as young as this kid is. Only went 4 innings because he did pitch earlier in the midweek, but 6 Ks in 4 innings, only 2 hits allowed. He did have 3 walks, so struggled with command a little bit at times, but this kid's stuff is electric. The more time that he's going to spend pitching and starting for this team, the better he is going to get. So watch out when Liam Peterson starts for the Gators, because that shit is going to be electric every time. This game was a little weird just because Dale Thomas had a home run for the Gators really early in the game in the second, and there was no scoring the inning when Ty Evans broke it open, 2-run home run. Dale Thomas adds another with a fly and a jet. I mean, don't expect anything. That Ty Evans, massive 2-run home run in the 8th. Dale Thomas adds with a sac fly RBI. And our boy Jack Caglione, 4 for 4 a day. Like, he is a monster at the plate. And then on Sunday, the dude takes the mound. 3 innings pitched, 7 Ks, gives up a couple earned runs, but man, he looked sharp. It was his first start of the year to get 7 strikeouts in 3 innings. Looked really, really good. And like I said, Alex Philpott, he came in for relief in this game. 6 strikeouts in 3 innings. Looked very, very sharp in the 2 appearances he had this week. This game was just dominant from start to finish. It was 5-0 for the Gators after the first inning. Again, Luke Heyman, Ty Evans, they're red hot in the middle of this lineup, adding big RBI doubles. And Tyler Shelnut, who else? 3-run home run in that first inning to add on. Jack also went 2 for 4 with an RBI in this game to add on to his pitching performance. So just ton of great stuff to come out of this weekend for Florida. Do we have any thoughts on Florida baseball or even Florida basketball?
We run the world. I mean, that's what it comes down to. We're the best all-around school on the fucking planet, baby. We're the best. We're Gator Nation. It's what we fucking do. End of story. We'll see you later.
Good take. Good take.
I'm excited. I was on the phone with my dad yesterday, and I was like, "This is finally the time of the year where I can support Florida sports," which kind of contradicts what Mondo just said. But yeah, they look really good. Basketball did kind of suffer. I don't think we got to talk about this yet, but Bama, dude, we threw that away, man. Like, that was really hard to watch. I dropped a pretty funny clip on that one. And then but yeah, other than that, they looked really good against Vandy. One thing I will touch on about Vandy is they gave Gonzaga their first W of the season this year yesterday in college baseball. So get fucked.
Yep.
But I didn't know, this is like off of the Gators, but I didn't know Vandy had such a huge wall out there in left field, bro. That thing is nuts.
Saucy.
Yeah, they have a very, very interesting field out there. I'm
Yeah.
glad you said that, because that was actually one of the first games I wanted to touch on. They dropped 2 games this week. They didn't only give Gonzaga their first one. They lost to Dayton earlier in the midweek. This was the 6th ranked team in the nation. They dropped down to number 9 after the rankings just came out today. I mean, they're slipping, man. They're slipping a little bit. I don't know what's going on. And this just first like couple weeks of the season for them, but they do not look like themselves. Like, Vandy is a powerhouse in baseball every year. They have a supreme talent, a great program. I mean, they developed a ton of MLB prospects, but this year, I don't know. It just looks like they're slipping. They're not playing their brand of baseball, especially against subpar teams. Yeah, I mean, like you said, Gary, that's kind of wild to give Gonzaga their first win this week
Yeah.
on Sunday. But to just round out the college baseball segment a little bit more, I'll just touch on some other takeaways from this weekend. Number 14, Virginia. They moved up to number 13 in the rankings. They had a really, really great weekend. They played in a little tournament style and beat Auburn, Michigan, and Iowa, I believe. 3 pretty good teams. However, I will touch on Iowa a little bit later because I don't believe they're as good as we might have thought they were at the beginning of the season. If you missed out on the East Carolina and North Carolina series, holy hell. That was crazy. Number 11 ECU and number 15 UNC. This was like a playoff matchup. This was like a super regional matchup. I mean, these teams went after each other all weekend long. ECU finally came out with the series victory, but Vance Honeycutt from UNC is a special player. That dude was clutch all weekend long for UNC. That guy is going to be one of the top draft picks this year. Every time UNC needed a clutch hit to get back at that game, Vance was coming through at the plate every time. So big player to watch out of UNC this year, Vance Honeycutt for sure. Another player that had a really big performance, number 2 Arkansas and number 7 Oregon State had a crazy game on Friday night. This top 10 matchup was so elite because Hagen Smith for number 2 Arkansas threw 6 innings and had 17 strikeouts. Yes, you heard me correctly. 17 out of the 18 outs that he recorded were strikeouts. This man had one of the most dominant pitching performance I have seen in recent history for Arkansas, and they almost blew the game. Oregon State was mounting a comeback at the end of that game, and Arkansas was lucky to get out of that with a win. But boy, that was exhilarating. Arkansas pitching staff is going to be something to watch this season because not only does Hagen Smith have the stuff as their Friday night ace, they've got it all weekend long in their rotation. They are going to be a tough team to hit against. A couple other things. FSU, still unranked, but they are 8-0 right now. Their team is rolling. Their offense is cooking. I will say that is a team that we just might have to bet on just because they might be a little better than they were last year. But I do agree with that, Gare. Texas Tech, this was wild. I saw this today. Since their opening loss of the season to Tennessee, they've gone 6-1, and they have scored 102 runs in those 7 games. 102 runs. It's ridiculous. They scored over 30 runs, I think, on Friday night against a smaller school in Texas. I don't have the name in front of me right now. But 102 runs, I'm shitting you not, in 7 games. They have a ridiculously potent offense. And if you want to be betting overs, take a Texas Tech over in every game you see from now on. And then big thing I wanted to touch on too, number 12 Duke. I think they should get a little bit more respect. They are 7-0 right now. They are, I think, one of the most well put together all around teams in the country. They had great wins over number 20 Indiana and number 22 Coastal Carolina in their first weekend of the season. And they had a great win against Liberty earlier in this midweek, who is not a bad team either. So I think Duke should get a little more respect going forward. They're a very, very good team to watch out for. And then I want to leave you with this. 4 teams to fade right now in college baseball because they're not looking too hot. The first one is Iowa. We just talked about them. At the beginning of the season, we thought it was going to be a much different story for Iowa. But so far, they're 3-4. Started out really hot with wins against Ball State and Seton Hall. They've dropped 4 out of 5 against Lehigh, Wichita State, got Virginia and Auburn mixed in there, but they are just giving up way too many runs and they cannot compete. Stanford, another horrible team this year. 2-5. They are just not a proficient team anywhere. They can't pitch. They can't hit. They lost 2 out of 3 to Cal State Fullerton, 2 out of 3 to Penn State, and they lost to UNLV in the midweek. So this is not going to be a good team moving forward. I will also say USC, also out of the Pac-12, 2-5. They've only beat Portland twice. Other than that, they've lost to Portland once. They've lost to Loyola Marymount, BYU, Ohio State, and a pretty good Grand Canyon team, but USC is not looking like they are going to be up to snuff this year either. And then one last team, Louisville. They've gotten off to a rough stretch so far this season. 3-4. All three of their wins have actually come this weekend against St. Bonaventure. They did lose one of those games to St. Bonaventure, and they also lost to UConn and Xavier. Those are tough losses right there. Indiana State, I'll give them credit. Indiana State's undefeated right now. They actually look like a very, very good mid-major program, and I feel like an idiot. We bet on FGCU against them earlier. But Louisville, man, they're on a slide right now. They should be a lot more talented than they are. Definitely look for those 4 teams to start fading soon.
Wow. Way to
That was
go,
so
sir.
much shit. That was so
Way
much
to
shit.
go. TLDR, if you need to rewind it all, 4 teams to fade, Florida baseball on top.
Gang.
And that guy has a raw last name, Honeycutt. I was gonna say something about it, but that's pretty funny.
We don't want to
That guy-
interrupt you.
Oh, he is a stud, man. You should have that because that kid, like, he is going to be a top draft pick. He has all the tools that you want at the plate. I mean, he's going to be a really big player for UNC and a really big reason why they are going to be as good of a team as they are this year.
Love it. All right, boys, let's move on to that part of the episode. Give me your picks for tonight. Holmes, let's start with you.
All right, we're going to keep it pretty light tonight because there is not a big slate in the NBA. There's not a big slate in the NHL, but I do have a little NBA parlazzle to put together. We're going to take 2 alternate spreads. We're going to take the Raptors plus 10.5 against Indiana and the Heat plus 10.5 against Sacramento. I know the Heat are without Jimmy Butler tonight, but honestly, a lot of what I've seen with the Heat play without Jimmy Butler, they don't play too bad. So I'm going to take them to cover tonight, 10.5 alternate spread against Sacramento. And then Toronto, they've actually played pretty decent against Indiana so far this year. And I just think 10.5 is too many points for Indiana to be able to win this game by. They've played a lot of close games recently. So I'm going to take Toronto to cover that one. You put those two together, a little plus 120. And then I am also going to take TCU in college basketball on the money line, minus 135. They're favored tonight against a ranked team in Baylor, number 11 Baylor. This is the system play. We talk about it all the time. The ranked teams or the unranked teams at home that are favorites, the ranked teams coming in, we're going to take the unranked team at home all the time. So we're going TCU on the money line tonight, minus 135.
All right. Gary, what do you have? While we wait for Gary,
What do you
I
got,
have
Mondo?
6 plays tonight. Oscar Thompson over 17 points, rebounds, assists. The guy is sneaky good as a 6-man option. Josh Hart over 13.5 rebounds and assists. I know he's probably the highest on his team when it comes to this tonight. Doesn't matter. Josh Hart's going to deliver. He always does. We got Vince Williams Jr. over 18.5 points and assists. De'Aaron Fox over 9.5 rebounds and assists. Benny Mathurin over 20.5 points and rebounds. Bam, with no Jimmy, over 37.5 points, rebounds, assists. A little 6 play tonight.
A little 6-pack for the boys.
So I got 1 play tonight. That is because I'm starting off small in the road to $100 thing that I was talking about last week. So if you guys missed this, essentially I'm gonna be taking $1 and I'm gonna take it to $100. At least try to. So for the one and only play I have tonight, I have UNC versus Miami. I am taking UNC minus 14.5.
Wow. All right. I actually will say I do like that play, Gare. The only reason I didn't touch it is I thought personally 14.5 was a big spread, but to help you out, UNC has been blowing the shit out of opponents at home, and Miami's been on a little bit of a slide, so I do like that play, honestly.
We're taking it to 100. Let's see what
Let's
happens.
do it, baby. Let's do it.
Love it, Gare. All right. Now the moment we've all been waiting for. At least I've been waiting for God knows how long at this point. We have the best way to eat French fries draft.
Yes.
Absolutely. I mean, I've been waiting. I feel like I've tried to do this since like the first one, and everyone's just been pushing back on it. And I was just like, man, fuck. Like eventually they're gonna agree. So here we go.
We've come around.
We finally got them in. We're gonna do it. Here it is. So list of 10 for today. We have standard French fries, just your regular run of the mill. Potato wedges. We got waffle fries, steak fries, smiley fries, tater tots, curly fries, sweet potato fries, crinkle fries, and shoestring fries.
Damn. This
Is
is
this
going to be a
So
hard one.
where is
this
this?
is not going to be easy.
Where is this?
Yeah, this is going to be a difficult one. Damn.
You got to
Okay,
scroll
alright.
up, but I'll resend it.
All right. Well, I will say,
I
if
just
I'm going to
found it.
start, if I'm going to start off with my favorite, what we got here, controversial take, tater tots.
Tater tots at 1.
Tater tots
What?
at 1.
At 1?
1. I will rock tater
That's
tots at 1.
ridiculous.
Hey man, I said it's gonna be a little hot, a little spicy, but man, you got tater tots on the menu. I'm rocking those over fries
Brother,
99% of the time.
I've had bad tater tots. Tell you what I haven't had bad of.
Be
Curly
careful.
fries.
Okay, that's fair. I
What
was
do you
going
say?
to.
Curly
I mean,
fries?
yes,
Yeah.
curly fries
Okay.
is the 100% the close
What
second
did
for
what
me.
did
I
you
was going
say
to
be
say.
careful for?
Because I thought you were gonna say some stupid shit like crinkle cut fries. Like those are the worst things on planet Earth. But yeah, curly fries,
No.
I agree, bro. All right. I'm gonna give my boy Nick Lip another shout out. I feel like I say something about him every episode. I said something bad about him last episode, but I'm gonna say something good about him this episode. Arby's has the best curly fries you will ever have in your entire life, and I stand by that point. I have a driver head cover that is a box of Arby's curly fries.
Oh my god.
Arby's
way.
curly fries are the best curly fries you can get on the market. Shout out Nick Lip.
I agree that Arby's has two good things: their fries and their milkshakes. That's it.
Jamocha shake, bro.
You are a jamoke.
I will
All right,
say Winghouse curly fries though. It's just kind of hit.
valid, valid.
Damn, they
All
shut down the Wing House in Gainesville. That's sad.
Mm-hmm.
That
Long
shit was
time ago.
ass. That shit was a load of ass.
But there was some baddies.
All right, curly fries at number 1. Now let's take it to number 2. Where are we sitting here,
I'm
boys?
standing firm on tater tots until they get on the damn.
I still think that's crazy.
No, there's no way that's crazy. You're crazy for not thinking that tater tots are top tier.
I mean, you gotta go with like the standard fry.
Bro, what? You are insane. I would take at least like 3 of these fries.
I'd
before
put
I took
tater
this.
tots at my 3.
We gotta stop letting Mondo get his way on these things. I'm telling you this now.
We never do.
Oh, bullshit!
If we went my way, there would be no fucking hot dogs or any of this shit on here.
That's true. If it went his way, we would have done this like months ago.
Yeah.
We would have done this a long time ago. We did
Maybe
do the
if you
potato one a long
speak
time
up
ago.
down there facing space, we go your way.
See,
But you don't.
Oh, don't let him say that to you, Gary.
no, because when he sees this recording, he's gonna realize that Austin Hart is the one below, and I'm the one right next to him. I'm gonna
All right,
fucking just...
dipshit to the right. What are you picking?
I like tater tots.
Yes, that's what I'm talking about. Let's go,
Is
dude.
that a spike tater tot pick or a real pick?
No,
no
I'm
chance
being
it's
dead
okay.
ass. Like I
Okay.
just had Sonic tater tots yesterday, and
Yes.
they've been on my mind.
All right, I put tater tots at 2.
But you
Fucking
know,
hell.
also another really underrated tater tot is Burger King's. If you go there for breakfast, when I was a little kid, I used to go there sometimes for breakfast, and they have like circular, like pancake looking tater tots, and those are really good.
Fire. All right, I guess since we fought hard for the 2, Mondo, what would you make as the 3?
The standard fry.
Was that like McDonald's?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I guess we can. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. But I don't think we can go any further. Like, I don't think we can go to 4 without putting waffle there. Any agreements about that? I love me a good waffle fry. Like Chick-fil-A waffle fries hit. But I can see there's some disagreement here. I don't know.
See, I have a really hot take that I don't think is gonna go over well for who I think or what I think should be next.
You're about to say the smiley fries, aren't you?
No,
No, all right.
I would say steak fry.
no. I'm gonna say sweet potato fry. I
See,
like
Gary, this is why we don't go your way.
no, bro. Listen,
this
Let's hear him out. Let's hear
this
him out.
is
Let's hear him
why,
out.
bro.
Let's hear him out.
sweet potato fries, right? Typically, if you have fries with something, that meal is already overwhelmingly like salted. Like for example, if you go to McDonald's and you get a burger and fries, the amount of sodium and shit that's packed into that burger is unreal. But if you have a sweet potato fry, you can salt them. Yes, I like them salted, but I also think it's kind of a good way as like almost like a palate cleanser to break up like what you're eating. Like it's a starch, but it's a sweet starch, so it's different than just like eating a normal potato. Like it tastes different than the rest of the food you're eating. So I like it because it stands out. Like if I go to a restaurant and it's like a higher class restaurant or something like that, and they have like the option of like a sweet potato or it's just a sweet potato, like I'm always taking it just because it's something different. And you can
Mm.
also do different things with sweet potato fries. I went to the fair one time and they had loaded fries, but they were sweet potato fries. They had like brown sugar and butter and all this shit on them, and it was so fucking good. I like sweet potato fries.
It's a tough one. That's a tough
Holmes, I'm
one,
gonna
man.
write in waffle fries.
Okay, I guess I'll fucking
Gary, I'll put your sweet potato fries at 5.
Yeah, we gotta keep it at 5. I'm not personally a big sweet potato guy myself, but I do know quite a bit of people that do fuck with a good sweet potato fry. So I can't say that it should not be that high because I do think it should. I think it is a decent favorite out there from some of the people.
and I gave valid reasoning to my pick. It wasn't just a
Yeah, I
Why
mean,
pick.
I'm
yeah,
not
you
putting
backed
it
it up. I
lower.
respect
That's
it.
why
I
I'm not
respect it.
putting it lower.
You backed it up.
All right, hear me out, bro. Steak fries are gas.
I gotta look these up. I don't even know what we're talking about with steak fry.
They're just like
Steak
really
fry,
thick ass.
you usually get them at like
Okay.
anywhere they serve steaks. They're like a little thicker, but they're not potato wedges. They taste like a standard fry, just you get more with it. I've never had a bad steak fry. Straight up, never.
I would say if I had the option, I would take wedges over steak fries, but like I don't
Really?
disagree with you. I think that is a really good fry, but I don't know. I really like wedges. I've always had good wedges when I go to different places, so I always rock with that. But I mean, steak fries, it's not like you can go wrong there. So I don't disagree with you.
Care?
I don't really have an opinion on this one because I'm not a big fan of the thicker fries. So you guys can kind of, but I mean, what would we classify like? Okay, so we're all Florida boys. We know Publix has the deli and they have those fries there. What would those be considered as? Wedges?
Potato wedges.
Yeah, definitely.
So steak
Hey, but like
fries
those
are a
those are
lot
gas.
skinnier than that,
Yeah,
and they're breaded or fried like a normal French fry.
yeah. It's honestly just like an enlarged like regular
Yeah.
fry, to be
Yeah, it's
honest.
like if you ran it over with a fucking tire or something.
Yeah, pretty much.
Um, yeah, I don't really have an opinion. Y'all can have this one.
Yeah, I mean, rock the steak fries up there. I think we should put potato wedges after those. That's pretty close.
Already written, sir.
Nice.
All
What do we
right.
got left?
So
We got
that
smiley
leaves us
fries.
with Smiley, Crinkle, and Shoestring. Now, the only place I've really had Shoestring at is Yard House, and they are phenomenal. They are really good. It's not a lot of potato in there, but it's like there's a good crunch. You get the potato. It's salted. So like I can't really attest to crinkle that much. I really don't think it's good. So I think that's genuinely the worst fry.
Yeah, crinkle's just so easy to like underdo and just be like chewy almost. Like, you
Yeah,
don't
people
like
make
that.
it too chewy, no
Mhm,
salt, like
mhm.
it falls apart. That I've just truthfully I've never had a really really good crinkle cut fry.
Yeah, it's just hard to come by, to be honest. Honestly, I will say the same thing about shoestring. Like shoestring fries for me vary from place to place. Some place, like you said, they're seasoned really well. They're like very crunchy, but dude, other places they can undercook the shit out of those too. And then they're just basically like little flimsy pieces of shit. Like I don't want that. That's why I think it's that low. It's not as consistent as the other fries, at least for me.
Gary, you're sitting there rolling your eyes.
Oh, it's not because of this conversation. It's because SG voting starts tomorrow, and we all know how that goes. So,
Yeah, you just click ignore on all the
yeah.
messages.
But yeah, what? Sorry, we were talking about crinkle cut fries and shoestring fries.
Yeah, I think Holmes and I agreed crinkle is last.
Yeah, yep,
Okay.
by far.
So that leaves shoestring and smiley. Smiley at school were good. You just don't get a lot of them. Shoestring, you get a lot, but not as much potato.
See, I have a sentimental thing with shoestring fries because my great grandma used to have these things called picnics. Not like a picnic where you eat outside, but then it was
I
like,
thought
Oh yeah, yeah. No, no, no. I know what you're talking about. I know what you're talking about.
yeah, they're like these canned like chip kind of things, but it's kind of like a shoestring fry, essentially. And I think those are just better than smiley fries anyways. Smiley fries are just kind of fucking nasty. Like it's just like a mouthful of muck and it's shaped like a smiley face. Like, ew. Like what? Like
Yeah.
I feel like there's like a tier like where you can have like shaped foods and you have like dino nuggets here and like smiley fries like way down here. Like
that. Yeah, I can kind of do that with the betting odds, but
That'll work.
shaped
Work.
food tier list potential.
That'll work. Great
okay.
idea for future.
So going through the list, we got curly fries, tater tots, standard, waffle fries, sweet potato fries, steak fries, potato wedges, shoestring fries, smiley fries, and crinkle cut fries. Fucking hell.
Yeah, I like it. I like it.
All right.
What a good one. What a
Well,
good one to discuss.
I feel like we really dove into that.
We are passionate about our fries. We really
I
are.
am.
Because we're from America.
Yes, sir.
All right. Let's wrap it up then. Ladies and gentlemen, if you enjoyed this episode, please make sure to like, subscribe, share with everyone you know. We will see you guys on the next episode. Peace.